Hi guys! Welcome back to Explore with Nicki B. I'm your host, Nicki B. We are on episode 6. Recap, we've gone through pretty much my whole life story. You guys know everything about me now. You know all the trauma, all the drama, all the things that have happened. Obviously, there's going to be a little bit more stories here and there that I will sprinkle into the mix. I wanted to focus today's episode on 2020. So, just kind of what happened during that time, kind of how I woke up and what I woke up to, how I kind of ended up unplugging out of the matrix, if you want to call it that. And yeah, just kind of sharing my story there with everything that transpired. I'm sure everybody's got a good COVID story. But yeah, we'll dive into that. I do appreciate everybody reaching out from my past few episodes where I shared a lot of personal information, a lot of details about my health, my weight loss journey, all the pictures I shared, just all of my intimate details about everything with my past marriage. So I appreciate everybody reaching out and the support that I've gotten. It's been great. I really appreciate you guys. So thank you, thank you. So yeah, we'll just get right into it. Basically, what happened during COVID. So in 2019, the end of 2019 is when we had bought our house out here in Roseville and we got married. So we got married on my birthday, November 27th. We went to the courthouse and got married. And then we did our honeymoon shortly after the following year. So fortunately, it was right, we got back from our honeymoon right when stuff was like shutting down. Otherwise, we probably would have been stuck out there. But we ended up doing a cruise to Mexico, and then we also went to Hawaii. So we did like 2 different trips. But yeah, it literally, Hawaii got shut down, I think like the following week, once we got back. So it was perfect timing when we got home. When we got home, everything started kind of shutting down. That was going into, what was that, February, March, April-ish, somewhere around there. Things started shutting down. We couldn't go anywhere, stay home, save lives, all that stuff. That is really when I did a huge deep dive. So April of 2020, I would say, is when I woke up. That's when I did a deep dive. I watched this documentary called Out of the Shadows. Shoot, I can't remember. It's either Out of the Shadows or Out of Shadows. It's hard to find right now, so if you are going to look for it, you have to maybe go to Rumble or another source to try to find it. It's hard to find the truth nowadays. It's hidden in places. Sometimes you can find stuff on Telegram. There's different groups that you can find things on. But that is the documentary that woke me up. So I watched that documentary and I learned all about all this stuff happening, the child sex trafficking, and how Hollywood is super corrupt and disgusting, and all the stuff that happens there. Just child sex trafficking, child sacrifice, Satanism, how a lot of higher up people are in this. It's kind of like a big club, and we're not part of it. The elite, they say, right? So I learned all about that. I was sick to my stomach. So when I found out about the Epstein Island and just all of the different, there's this video, I'm not going to say the name of it because I don't want you guys to go searching it, but it's on the black web, and it is a disgusting video of a previous president's wife and her assistant cutting the face off of a little girl and torturing the girl, cutting out the intestines, torturing her, but dancing around with this face while they're naked, and intoxicated from the adrenochrome from drinking the blood. So when they scare the kids, it creates adrenochrome that runs through their blood, and then they drink it and it gets them almost high. And it also keeps them looking really young and youthful. So a lot of celebrities do it. It's pretty disgusting. I was traumatized when I learned all this stuff, right? And it sounds crazy to say. It sounds crazy to talk about. Anybody that doesn't know any of this and they hear this, they're going to think I'm nuts, right? My family thought I was crazy. So I do this deep dive research. I'm telling everybody. I'm screaming it from the rooftops, right? I'm trying to save people. When I find out about this, I'm telling everybody, and then I look crazy. My kids all thought I was crazy. My ex-husband thought I was crazy. My family thought I was crazy. People, on social media thought I was crazy. So because I do a super deep dive. So I don't just watch one documentary and just think that's the truth, right? I was literally watching hundreds of thousands of hours of stuff. I was just deep diving into anything and everything I could find to get more information. And I was going down all these different rabbit holes and just learning so much that honestly, like, more than I really wish I had, but I did. I learned it. I got very depressed, and that's when I was saying in my last episode, I started smoking weed with my ex-husband during COVID. That's when I was doing it like every day because I got really depressed. So I mean, I haven't smoked for 3 or 4 years, right? But that was during that time. It was every night, like every night. And that's when later I got bigger because I was smoking and eating and depressed and learning about all these children. There's something called panda eyes, where they were, doing stuff, sodomizing these children and causing black eyes around their eyes, and just really disgusting, horrible things. So I started going to marches and stuff later down the road when stuff started opening back up after COVID. But during COVID, we're locked down. I'm deep in research. Like, that's all I was doing was just research. Again, my family all thought I was going crazy. But I just wanted the truth. I'm all about the truth. And once I found truth, I kept wanting to find more truth and more truth and more truth. And I was just doing all these different deep dives. That's when I got all into my flat earth research, and I did hundreds of thousands of hours of research there too, which we'll have a whole episode on that. So don't worry. Grab your popcorn later for that. So yeah, it was a rough time. And then obviously the kids are at home, they're doing online learning. So that was rough, trying to navigate that on top of me learning all this stuff about these kids and what has gone on with these kids and all these, millions of children that were getting kidnapped and trafficked every year and sold. It's the second biggest industry in the world, right? So I believe drugs obviously is number one, but the second one is child sex trafficking. So it's pretty disgusting. They make money off of that, and the only way we're going to be able to stop it is to speak about it, right? Share it so people know it's real, and we all rise up together, like, and just, if you see something, say something and try to come against it and just make people aware of it so we know it's actually really happening, and then call these people out. I'm not too happy with what's going on right now with not releasing the Epstein files. I think it's disgusting. It's awful. It's horrendous what's happened there. But back to COVID. So in 2020, at the end of 2020, right before Christmas, we all got laid off at my job. That's when I was working for LoJack. So I was the area business director for the West Coast, and then they moved some positions around and did some things. But then in December, right before Christmas, they let us all know that they were selling the name LoJack and dissolving the company completely and letting everybody go. And that we had an opportunity potentially to interview with the new company that was going to buy it later if we wanted to go that route. But again, that would be later down the road. So now I'm like really depressed, right? So I'm already depressed from my deep dives. I'm finding out all these children are being murdered and tortured and sex trafficked and all these things. So it was not a good time for me. And then losing my job. I was there for 5 years. So I had to figure out what I was going to do. And that's when I decided to reach out to Jeff, my current boss. When I was working for LoJack, a couple times, him and Chris would come to the Vegas showcase that I was at, and they had asked me about, coming on to their side of things as an agent, and if I ever thought about it or would want to do it. And that it always stuck in my head. And so when the opportunity came, I called Jeff and I was just like, okay, Jeff, I lost my job. What does this look like if I were to do it? Right. And so we had a conversation and I decided to go for it. Once I did say yes to him, I immediately knew, because I had severance pay up until February. So I'm like, okay, I got a couple months to figure this out and try to get some accounts. So I was hustling, trying to get accounts so I could, otherwise I have no money coming in, right? $0. You start with $0 coming in when you're an agent. So I was like, I got to get some accounts quick. So I'm hustling, trying to figure this out. Of course, it's during COVID. Everybody's got to wear masks when you go into the car dealerships, and you got to respect everybody and stand 6 feet away. And people are all weird about COVID. And, you see your extreme rights and your extreme lefts and how everybody was acting. I definitely didn't want to go one way or the other with the extremists, but I didn't necessarily believe in having to wear the mask going in, but I did respect the dealerships that I went into that required it. So if they required it, I respected them and I would do that. If they didn't care, I would also not care and not wear it. So, again, lost my job, tried to find accounts. In the meantime, once I was a free agent and once they knew that I wasn't going to be working for LoJack anymore, I got maybe 3 or 4 other job offers, really good job offers, to work for them because they knew who I was, they knew my capabilities, but I had already committed to working for Jeff, and that's one thing about me. If I commit to you, I commit to you, right? I'm not going to go backwards on what I say. I'm not going to change my mind. I'm not going to go against you. If I've given you my word and I'm going to, I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do something, right? I have integrity. That's like, my middle name is Integrity. No, it's not. It's actually Brienne. But if I could choose my middle name, it'd be Integrity. But I'm all about that, right? I treat people how you want to be treated, and that's the golden rule. So that's what I believe in. So anyways, I stayed committed. I decided to go with it. I was able to land an account, my very first account. I was so excited. We actually launched the day that I technically started, and I was no longer with LoJack. So that was the day that I launched, which was perfect timing. So at least I had some income coming in, but now I had to go get more business so I could grow my income again, right? Because I was starting from zero. So that was definitely stressful. Of course, going through the COVID psyop, right? I kind of say it was an IQ test. Again, we can agree to disagree because some people really believe in the vaccine and everything that transpired. They have certain beliefs that they're completely set on. I don't. So I witnessed a different side of it. Like, for example, my aunt, she was vaccinated and then she went and got a booster shot. Immediately after that, she was paralyzed, and then she had to go to a hospital where they could take care of her, and she ended up dying. My mom, when she got one of the vaccines, she didn't get the second one, but the first one, she ended up getting a clot in her leg. I knew multiple people that had heart attacks after they were vaccinated. I knew a kid that ended up getting myocarditis. I don't know how to say that. Myocarditis. Anyways, something with the heart, right? So there's a lot of kids actually there's one kid at Granite Bay High School that happened to as well. Multiple people have fainted and had heart issues and blood clots and obviously deaths. And then I know a couple other people that their family had died. One lady was in her 40s, was just doing the dishes at home. She had just got vaccinated, doing the dishes, and she just died, had a heart attack. So am I glad I didn't get it? Yes. I tried to scream it from the rooftops to tell everybody not to get it. I tried to warn people. Again, people thought I was crazy. But I was doing my research. I was doing deep dives, hundreds of thousands of hours. They say you're not an expert until you have all these hours behind you. I was literally doing that. I was, you name it, I was researching it. And I was, again, finding stuff that was like more underground that's not in the media. The media's not going to show you the truth, right? The media's not going to show you what's actually really happening because they have a direction they want things to go. So they're going to have a narrative on both sides. They're going to have a narrative to direct you the way that they want you to go. So I was able to find different sources where I could get information to find out what really was going on. So again, I was totally against the vaccine. I was to a point where I was even like obviously sharing it with my kids to not get it. My two older kids went against me because that's during that time they were being very rebellious, and of course they wanted to get it once they were out of the house. So they weren't in my house any longer. They went and got it. So Mariah has had some health issues. I can't say it's correlated, but I personally think it's because of it. She had some weird things happen where she was passing out all the time and they couldn't figure out why, and some stuff with her heart. And again, they couldn't figure out why. So I think it's related. Not sure 100%, but my older son so far hasn't had any health issues, thank God, but it doesn't mean he won't. I do know that there's a lot of men that probably should go get their sperm count checked, because it's most of them that have checked it after they were vaccinated, they're down to 0. So they literally don't have a sperm count now. So it's going to be really hard for them to procreate later and have children if they want to have children. So that's something that you might want to get checked if you are a male and you have been vaccinated and you're wanting to have children. So that was one thing I was super adamant about with my ex-husband when we were married. During COVID, there was so much pressure for people to get vaccinated. I mean, they were throwing out, obviously, the gift cards and money and free donuts and free burgers and free sandwiches. So they tried to do like the lower things to try to get you. Then they had big bonuses if you were going to get it. Then there was forcing, right? In the medical field, they were forcing you to get it. In the military, they were forcing you to get it, which a lot of people, you know, went against that and they didn't do it. I commend all those people. Those are my people. But they, during that time, you know, obviously, because there's family members that I didn't talk to, friends that I didn't talk to because of this. There was a lot of fighting going on. They were kind of turning people against each other because they felt one way and they felt another. And so, and I respected everybody's opinions, but I'm like, don't come at me like that because of my opinion, what I choose. Like, I'm not trying to go around, you know, they're calling us murderers. Oh, you're murdering old people. You just want to murder old people and stuff like that. And again, now we're finding out with all the data and the research that it was not good, that it was not a great thing, and it's caused a lot of health issues. There's people that now test positive for HIV, people that have clotting issues, blood clot issues, people that have heart issues now that didn't have heart issues before. There's so much research now that they see that it was not a great thing and it wasn't good, depending on obviously which one you got. There was some placebos out there. There was some nurses that were actually just giving saline to people because they knew that what it had in it and they didn't want to give it to people. So they were secretly giving people saline, and thank God for those nurses. They risked their jobs and stuff. One person went to jail for it. I think they just got released recently and acquitted. So it was crazy times, right? But yeah, my ex-husband at the time was being pressured. So like everybody was doing it at his work and they're trying to pressure him to do it, and family and friends and things like that. And he eventually, he says he was joking. I don't think he was joking, but he was saying he was going to do it and just get it. And I told him, I said, if you get that, we're never going to have sex again, because I will not have sex with you after you've gotten that. And I'm going to divorce you. So I was so adamant about it because I did not play. And I did all of the research on it, and I was very adamant about not wanting any of that inside my body, period. because of the repercussions that you can have from it. So he didn't get it, of course, but we did end up getting COVID. So we caught COVID a few times in our household. The first time that I caught it, it was in 2021, and I think it was 21 or 22. I can't remember now. It was right after I came back from Vegas. So I went to Vegas with my friend Ange, her sister, and another friend of ours. So we went to Vegas, came back. I literally caught COVID. We all caught it. So Angela had it, her husband had it. I ended up having it. I give it to my whole household. So we all get it. I almost died. What saved me was ivermectin. So again, people were making fun. People were making fun of me for speaking about ivermectin, and they were talking so much mess to me about it. Oh, that's horse paste. That's horse pills. Like, just talking about how it's for cattle, it's for horses, it's not for humans, it's not safe, and all this stuff. And they don't realize that I did research on this. This is a 40-year-old drug. It's one of the safest drugs there is, and it doesn't have there's no major health issues that it can have on you from taking it and consuming it. And I did all the research. I was okay with it because it's either that or potentially die. Like, I literally almost died when I had caught COVID. And I was scared to go to the hospital. I was scared of doctors at that point because of everything happening. I was scared to go to the hospital because everybody going to the hospital, they were giving the remdesivir and they were dying. And they were intubating them, right? And they were dying. So I didn't want to go to the hospital. So I tried to hold out as long as I could. I caught the COVID. I held out as long as I could. I did this virtual online doctor appointment where I was able to meet with the doctor, tell him my symptoms, tell him everything. They were able to order me the ivermectin pills. I got a Z-Pack along with, I was taking vitamin C and zinc. So that was the protocol. So finally day 10 comes and I get my meds because it took a long time for them to get mailed to me. So I'm literally was about to go to the hospital. I felt like I had these huge balls in my back, like, and I couldn't move. I was I couldn't breathe. I barely could breathe. I barely had any breath. And I was almost ready to go to the hospital. It was that bad because, again, I don't go to the hospital. I usually don't take pills. I like to do natural stuff. I don't even take ibuprofen, Tylenol, none of that stuff. I don't take that stuff. So for me to want to go to the hospital, it was serious. So finally the ivermectin came. I literally took it the next day. After taking it for one day, I was 50% better. The next day after that, 75% better. By day 3, I felt almost 100%. Again, I continued with the course that they told me, but it had me back like that. And again, it was the Z-Pack, vitamin C, zinc, along with the ivermectin. So, and what I found out later was ivermectin kills parasites. Mostly what our issues are parasites. People don't realize it. That's why it's so important to do parasite cleanses. Again, I would probably do them quarterly until you get to a regimen where maybe you're doing them, twice a year, and then eventually you can get down to a once a year, depending on your situation. If you eat sushi all the time, you have animals in your house that live with you, you eat pork, like, you're going to want to do parasite cleanses more frequently. But eventually you can get to a place where you're just doing it once a year. But the ivermectin kills parasites, and I think a lot of that is what the issue is parasites. Doctors here, Western medicine, doesn't believe in it. They'll tell you you're crazy. They'll tell you there's no such thing here. Oh, have you traveled outside of the country? That's what they'll ask you. They think it only happens in third world countries. And it's not true. It's here. There's tons of different parasites. As you guys see from that whole lettuce outbreak thing with this parasite that makes you have diarrhea, that's what we've been having. Whenever you have food poisoning, we never tested for parasites. That's what it was. We have food poisoning, you have diarrhea or throw up, profusely. More than likely it's a parasite. There's something in your body that your body's not agreeing with. But again, we don't test for that stuff. Now that they're actually testing the lettuce and they're testing for it, they're seeing that, oh, it's a parasite, right? There's tons of different parasites out there, tons of things that get attached to your body. And again, people don't realize it. That's what we'll do a whole episode on parasites. Trust me, I have so much information on parasites and different protocols and different things for you guys to take. I will teach you guys everything you need to know. But if you think about it, so that's what happens inside your body when you get a tumor, for example. Again, doctors will probably disagree with me because they've had schooling. And again, go back and look at all the schooling. So all the books in all the schools, the universities, all of the schools here that are teaching our kids. Robert Maxwell is the printing company of all of our books that we're learning from. Robert Maxwell is Ghislaine Maxwell's father, who is a Mossad agent. And that is where our books come from. That is who's teaching us. Everything we're learning is coming from them, right? So is it the right stuff? Is it the right information? Or are they teaching us what they want us to learn and know and believe, right? So again, I did deep dives during COVID, and I woke up and I unplugged out of the matrix. I realized that we're being lied to about everything. When I say everything, I mean everything. So you have to literally relearn everything because they have hidden all of the history. They've changed the history. History's written by the winners. You got to remember that. So everything that we've learned is not really true. So it's hard to know that, because then you're like, well, what's the truth? You don't really know the truth unless you can, again, do some deep diving in different outlets where you can try to figure out the truth. But I've got so much to go over with you guys. Like we're just scratching the surface here, because again, we can't go too long on these episodes. So, because I don't want to go over on time, but there's so much that I learned and had to unlearn and then relearn. It's just wild. It's wild. And again, we can agree to disagree, because there's going to be people that hear my videos and they're not going to believe it, right? There's going to be doctors that had 8 years of college, 10 years of college, a ton of college, and they're going to not believe what I'm saying about parasites, but they were never taught that stuff, right? They weren't taught. They might have a little tiny chapter on parasites from third world countries, right? But they don't teach you. Back in the day, in the 1800s, before virology was a thing, they did parasite cleanses. Everybody did parasite cleanses. It was a routine thing in the household that everybody did and everybody knew to do. Then virology came and parasites got buried. They burned the books. They buried the books. They didn't talk about it anymore. It was taboo. So nobody did the parasite cleanses anymore. They went and focused on virology, and that became the thing. And then cancer became a thing. And again, money, 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 money. They want to keep you sick. If you're sick, you're a customer for life, right? So they don't actually want you to be healthy, because there's so many things out there that can actually, natural things that can kill the parasites: wormwood, black walnut husk, cloves. Those are the 3 things you need. You can put those in tinctures and take them. Some activated charcoal maybe to pull out the toxins, or zeolite, or, there's different things that, bentonite clay, there's different things that you can pull out the toxins, because there's toxins again in your body. When you have parasites in your body, they're eating toxins. So if you're eating toxins, or there's toxins around radiation poisoning from the 5G, 6G, all the different technology, different things going on in your body, different metals, different plastics, different toxins, they're eating all that stuff. So they create tumors, they'll capsulate, so they will, go in your body and find a nice little home and create this cocoon over it. The body actually will end up, when you see a tumor, most tumors start out as parasites. Same with like kidney stones. Your kidney stones, they found when you cut them open, there's parasites in there. Your body has created that stone around the parasites to try to save your body. Same with tumors. There's parasites in your body will create that tumor around the parasites to save your body. But then what happens, you go and do a biopsy, slice it open to go check to see if it's cancer, and now you've just spread all of that into your body. So now the parasites go all throughout your body, and now this cancer is spread throughout your body, right? So parasite cleanses are important. There's a lot of people, you can watch the Joe Rogan podcast, different podcasts where they talk about different parasite cleanse protocols, with the methylene blue, the ivermectin, the fenben. They do the different protocols and they cure their cancer. They had stage 4 cancer that they cured with parasite cleanses. So it's definitely something to research, something to look at. People are not crazy that are talking about it. It's hard to talk about it though, because people will think you're crazy, or they, again, they've had their schooling and their research, so they think they know, so they're not open-minded enough to go look to see if there's something different, or, you know, they just wouldn't try it, right? Or they won't try it for themselves. But it's definitely a thing. These are the cloves I wanted to show you guys. These are the cloves that I personally get right now. So I usually will put, 4 or 5 cloves in my tea. So I will drop it in my little, loose leaf tea. I'll put it in the little clamp and then soak it. Another thing that I've been doing is the calamus root. So this is good for cognitive, you don't want to do it all the time, but every once in a while, it's good for your cognitive, for your brain, but it's also good for digestive system and stuff for your tummy. So I do that. As far as the tea goes, right now I'm doing an organic turmeric ginger. That's the tea I'm doing. I like it because it has like little pieces of ginger in the turmeric powder that kind of goes into the tea. So when you sip it, you get little flavors of that. But yeah, it's important to incorporate those healthy things to help cure yourself. I feel like we didn't get through COVID yet. There's so much more. I guess we'll do a part 2, because there is a lot more to go over as far as me unplugging out of the matrix and waking up. But I had mentioned previously, I had created a page on Facebook. It was called Hidden Truths. So that's where I was sharing, myself and another gentleman. We created the page and we were sharing all of the information we were finding. And a lot of it was on the Epstein files, the child sex trafficking, all the stuff that's coming out now. This was, back in 2020. And then we were sharing stuff on the vaccines. And again, I was going to all the marches. So later on, there was a lot of marches for, so they didn't have to force the vaccine on all the different, workers for the hospital and things like that. So I would go to all those marches. I was going to the marches for the children, different Save the Children marches, just trying to wake people up. Eventually Facebook took my page down. They didn't want me waking people up. They didn't want the truth out there. So that's when I knew I was really onto something. But it was very disheartening, because once you lose your page and you lose your source of sharing, because then I lost my Facebook page too. So they shut that down. So it wasn't a big deal. So then I'm sharing on my Facebook page. So all the stuff I was sharing, and again, then they delete that page too, and they didn't allow me to have it back. So it was that hurt. It hurt my heart, and I didn't want to start all the way over. I did have another backup page, thank goodness, that I hadn't used in a while. So I started using that again. That's my current Facebook page. But yeah, it was hard because I had built my business. That was my business page up that I'd built for 5 years, and I had like 5,000 followers and a lot of content on there for my business. So that was a hard pill to swallow. But yeah, so unplug from the matrix. It's hard when you're awake, because not everybody's awake, right? There's a lot of people that are asleep. There's some people that are kind of have a toe out, dipped out. And then there's your people that are awake also. So those are my people. So if you're one of the awake people, reach out to me. Let me know who you are. Those are my people. So I resonate with you guys. I mean, I'd love to wake other people up, but I've gotten to a point where I'm like, I'm over it. I'm so over it. So I've tried and tried and tried to wake people up. I don't have it in me anymore. Like, I really don't. So you either get it or you don't. And if you don't, that's okay. Live your life. Enjoy your life. I won't be your cup of tea, and that's okay. But if you're awake, or you're interested in learning more, you do think that there's maybe some effery going on with the government, you think that they're lying to us, you think that, there's more to it, then, and you have an open mind, then yeah, maybe I would be for you, right? And you can learn something. Do a deeper dive, do some research, figure things out. So it's good to know the truth, so you know which direction to go for yourself and for your children and your family, and how to protect yourself at the end of the day. So speaking of protection, I just went over the weekend. I think that's another reason why I'm recording late. So today is Tuesday, July 28th, if you can see the calendar over there. So I'm running a little bit behind again, just like last week, story of my life. But over the weekend, I was training for my CCW. So I'm super excited about that. So I have applied for my CCW, and I'm super excited. I have a SIG P365. I think that's what it's called. I got to get used to all the acronyms and stuff. But anyways, it's a 9mm, but it was fun. I had fun shooting. It was my first time. So I went actually last week on Wednesday for the first time to practice shooting it, because I'd never shot my gun before. And I will show a picture of how I did with my target. So that's it right there. So I was pretty proud of myself. It was my first time shooting my gun. So, and it's funny, the instructor, Mike Ramsey, super cool dude. So I definitely recommend him if you guys need to do CCW training. He's right here in Placer County, and he's super cool dude. Make sure you let him know I referred you. So I'll get $20 off my renewal in 2 years. So let him know I referred you if you end up going to see him. But super good guy, super funny. But he told me when we first shot, he said that I was, because again, it was my first time shooting, I was better out of 4,000 students. I was better than 80% of the students for my first time. So I was pretty proud of myself. But yeah, so it was cool. The drills we did on that shooting that I showed you on that target, we had to do, obviously just shooting from 3 feet, 7 feet, 10 feet. Then we had to shoot one-handed right hand and then one-handed left hand. And when we're shooting, we don't squint our eye. We can't squint our eye. We have to keep both eyes open. So that's harder to find your target, right, with both eyes open. So you have to, it's defense training, right? You have to pretend there's a bad guy coming at you, and what are you going to do? You're not going to sit there and hold on, and then obviously when you squint your eye, what if somebody's coming from that side and you don't see him because your eye's squinted, right? Your peripheral has been taken away. So he was just teaching us stuff like that, which was really cool. So and then the other drill was, we had to pull the gun up, don't look through the sight, shoot twice, and then look over your right shoulder, look over your left shoulder. So we had to do that a few times. And I failed the first time because I didn't look quick enough. So then the second time I looked too fast, and I'm still shooting and looking at the same time. So then I end up hitting the guy's head. So didn't do too great there. But all in all, I did pretty good for my first time. So I was pretty proud of myself. But yeah, that's one way to protect myself. So I personally believe in protecting yourself with guns. I think it's important to have, the Second Amendment is important, and to exercise that. And I go to a lot of places by myself that are pretty scary. The dealerships that I go to in Stockton, Merced, the Bay Area, Oakland, out that way, Berkeley. There's a lot of sketch people, and I don't want to be in a situation where I can't defend myself. So I think it's important, and that's why I did the training, so I could learn, how to safely carry concealed and all of that. So anyways, I recommend that for everybody. I'm also now a member of the club in Placer County, so I'm excited to practice and shoot my gun there. So you'll see me around if you're a member. But anyways, I wanted to go into the comments. There's not that many comments, so I'll just read those real quickly, and we'll take the makeup off. I think we are good on time right now. There's a few comments on Facebook as well, so I wanted to read those, and then I'll read the comments on the shorts. There's no comments on the actual episode itself, so we don't have to worry about that. As far as the shorts go, first comment is it's titled White Cracker, A Word, B Word. Johnny Banks says, "Hi Nicole, so incredible you are. Much love. One love, always, forever, with a heart. Thank you, Johnny. Appreciate it. And then the next one was titled Sounds Silly to Hug a Tree. Let's see. Rigo says, Not. I always give hugs to my palms. About 3,000. Crazy. Feels good. It's so true. People need to hug trees more often, and keep your shoes off. So it's important to not wear shoes when you're hugging the tree. So that's how you get the grounding effect with the energy that goes through the ground, through the tree, through your body, through your feet, through the ground. So that is the frequency that goes through you, and it helps heal. So it's very important. And then we have Michael Kelly, love walking without my shoes on. Same. It's important to stay grounded. So that was one of my tips. Okay. So the next one is, it's the same short titled White Cracker, A Word, B Word. It says, from @Dual Outdoors. I've known you for a couple years now, and I just can't understand why the hell any guy would want to mistreat you. Only a complete idiot would want to alienate such a kind soul. That would be like me abusing or cheating my wife. I'd have to be the king of fools to do such a thing. That's very sweet of you. I do agree. But yes, some people just don't think. They're not the smartest. The next one is @Larry Lamb WB6NW. He's a racist. You need to make better decisions. Definitely. And my comment to him was, because obviously I was 18 years old. You can't tell an 18-year-old anything. We're hard-headed at that time. So, but definitely need to make better decisions. My picker is broken, so I'm not picking anymore. I'm going to let God pick for me. The next one is @Barbs177. Take care of your children now and date later. Great advice. Wish I would have listened to that back then, but yeah. No, I think it's very important to focus on your children. If you're in a relationship, it doesn't work out and you have small babies, just focus on the kids. It's the most important thing. And again, if God ends up bringing somebody into your life that actually is good for you and your children, sure. But yeah, focus should always be on the kids, 100%. Next one is titled 0 to 6 is when you're becoming who you're going to become. Christian Alvarez 5780 with a heart. Thank you. I don't think there's any comments on the other two. I haven't posted a ton of shorts. I've been super swamped, guys, so my apologies there as well. You will start to see more of my shorts. I tend to get more traction on the shorts, and I'm okay with that rather than full episodes. If the episodes are too long for you guys to watch, that's okay. I'll post shorts so you guys can just watch little 3-minute clips here and there and see what you like and what you don't, and what resonates with you and what you can learn. And again, the hope is to go to God. We want everyone to go to God. So makeup removal routine. We'll knock that out real quick. And then I do want to read the 365 days of resting in God's presence. So we will read that to end it off. And I do have a few more errands to run. So I'm not going to do a mask or anything like that. I'm just going to take off the makeup, do a few products, and keep it moving. So the next step with my CCW, so I did the training. Now I apply for the application, and then I have to do an interview with some retired sheriffs, I guess, out in Auburn. So they'll sit down with me and do an interview and go over my entire record and all that good stuff. I don't have a record, so it's okay. But if my name is attached to anything, even speeding tickets, they can see everything. So I just gotta go talk about all my speeding tickets, which I do have a few. I tend to have a little bit of a lead foot, so I'm trying to be better. I had a lot of speeding tickets when I was younger, but not as many now as I got older, but still got at least one I know of recent. So they do the interview, and then I think you have to give them like 3 references that they call. So they have to just make sure that you're in like a good mental capacity, you know, to be able to have a gun, because not everybody should have a gun. If your mental health is not good, or anybody that might be suicidal, or anybody that's doing drugs or excessive drinking, you know, people that maybe would make bad decisions, those people should not have guns or be able to have a gun. But I don't drink alcohol, I don't do drugs anymore. Again, I told you guys about my little issue that I had in the past. But I'm over that now. But yeah, I don't drink, I don't do drugs. I'm just using it for protection when I'm in some sketchy areas. Okay, did I get it all? I still need to go buy some new wipes. These were the wipes that I just used, but not the best. And then we will do pore pads. Oh, and some other good news. So I've had quite a few people reach out about the travel company that I'm part of. So I last night hit the Builder Pro level in the company, which is pretty cool. So I have now made a little bit of passive income. So now my membership is covered, and I'm at the level where I'm making $500 a month. So I thought that was pretty cool. I'm hoping by next week I'll be at the level where I make an extra $1,000 a month. So it is a good opportunity if you need an extra $500 a month, or an extra $250 a month, or an extra $1,000 a month plus your vacation, you know, monthly paid for. It's kind of a good opportunity, especially in this economy. Why not have a little side hustle, right? Why not have a little second job? And who doesn't want to vacation? So I think it's smart. But yeah, so I'm excited about that. So my vacation, my monthly dues are covered, plus I'm making an extra $500 a month. And by next week, I'm hoping to hit the $1,000 a month level. So, and I'm hoping, I don't know if I can make the Thailand trip. I'm really going to try to do the Thailand trip if I can. If not, it's okay, because I'm definitely doing the Dominican Republic one. Got my passport ready. Oh, sorry. Let me tell you what we're doing. The Dr. Malaxin. So that goes on like the heavier areas with the wrinkles.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Whoa. Alexa's listening to us. We didn't even ask her. Okay. And then I'm going to do a little bit of the frankincense. Again, I don't love the smell of it, but I like what it does for me. And then I'm going to do a little bit of this one for the under eye. My face is a little bit sunburned still. I was laying poolside with my sister, so that was fun. We had a good time, but I definitely got a little color. Okay. Lastly, gotta have the cocoa butter chapstick if I can get it off. It's important too when you're out in the sun a lot to make sure you stay hydrated. One thing that I really like that I've been doing is this thing called Element, because I always am low on sodium also. So it has 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. So I like the flavor. I just put it in my big jug with some ice and water and drink it that way. So it's actually pretty good. Okay, so that's it for my routine. So this is the makeup removal routine. And then let's read the verse and we are done. Okay, so today is July 28th. So it's titled Cheerful Choices. You must each decide in your heart how much to give, and don't give reluctantly or in response to pressure. For God loves a person who gives cheerfully. 2 Corinthians 9:7. It's very true. I'm a firm believer, again, in treating people how you want to be treated. So I think it's important to give from your heart. Don't give and feel obligated if people tell you to give. Don't feel forced or pressured, but just give if you're feeling the need to give. If you see somebody and you have some extra food, or you have a few bucks and you can help somebody, or you see somebody in a bind or a pinch or a situation. Now, when you're giving, make sure you're not giving and telling people, because then you're not going to get your blessing. That is your blessing. When you tell somebody what you just did, you just gave away your blessing. God's going to bless you and reward you when you give honestly from your heart without telling other people. So when you're giving to the homeless, when you're giving to somebody that's in need, or, donating to somebody, you don't need to share it. You don't need to tell people what you're doing. I mean, the only reason to share, maybe like a GoFundMe, is to get other people to also fund that GoFundMe. But you're not sharing to tell everybody what you just did and to tell everybody what you just donated, right? So just make sure that when you're sharing, it's really from your heart, and you're doing it for God, and you're doing it for that person and for God, because you will be blessed at the end of the day. It's important not to share those things that happen. Don't do it for clout or for social media and have yourself out there with the camera showing yourself giving money to homeless or giving food to the homeless. Unless you're just trying. I see different viewpoints, right? Because there is some people that might take pictures or show that they made these packages for the homeless to try to encourage and inspire other people. So I get that part, but again, do it from your heart. Do it from your heart. That's my recommendation. So I love giving. I don't tell anybody I do it. I don't tell people about it. I love giving if I can. If I can and I'm in a situation where I can give, I love giving to people. So, but I don't share it. So anyways, thanks guys. Appreciate you. I'm going to have the Elite sponsor promo afterwards. So again, if you want to learn more about Elite, the promo really talks just more about the vacation side of things and people that like to go on trips and want it for the vacation part of it. If you guys are actually wanting to do the business part of it, like I'm doing on the side, and you want to make an extra income monthly, reach out to me. Just shoot me a message. I will tell you exactly what to do and help you make money like I am. So awesome. Thanks guys. Have a good night. Bye. Hi guys. It's Nicki B, the host of Explore with Nicki B. I just wanted to come on and go over our current sponsor of the show, Elite. I wanted to do a quick promo and plug for them, and they are who's making this happen. So I appreciate them. I'd like to start by sharing their mission statement. So what is Elite? Elite's mission is to elevate everyday life by making travel more accessible and creating a path towards financial independence. We exist to inspire people to experience more of the world, live on their own terms, and design a life they love. So Elite is pretty much an invitation-only travel and lifestyle community. So I am part of it. I'd love for you to be part of it so you can come travel with me, go on some fun trips together. I don't know if you guys currently travel right now. If you're currently traveling, it'll definitely save you a ton of money because, as you know, using things like Expedia Group, Booking Holdings, you think you're getting a savings, but In all actuality, there's probably another 65% savings there in over, a million plus hotels that Elite is able to offer you. I know with Booking Holdings, they made 26.9 billion last year, and then the Expedia Group 14.7 billion. So that shows if they're making that much money, that shows how much room there is for savings. So it does allow you to save money. It is a travel club that you're part of. What's nice about being part of the travel club, so not only do you get the up to 65% off on the hotels, over a million plus hotels, you also get savings on car rentals, resort weeks. There's specific Elite excursions that they'll post that you're able to be part of, which is really cool. I'll show you some upcoming ones that I'm going to be joining. There's cruises, there's group travel rates. So if you're getting married and you have a big, large group that you need to get group rates on, or maybe a 50th wedding anniversary is coming up and you have a big group that you're taking somewhere, you're able to get discounted rates on it. Meeting spaces, if you're going to rent those out, airport lounges you can save money on. So tons of ways to save money throughout the year with your current travel. If you're not currently traveling and you'd like to travel more, that's another reason why it makes sense to do this. So the cost of the actual membership is $175 a month. So with that, though, you're getting the discounted hotels, you're getting the Elite Escapes. Those are those week-long trips that they have in different places like Dubai, and there's one coming up in Thailand that I'm going to be going to. I'll share that real quick. Also, there's a cruise they just went on, trips to Jamaica, things like that. You also get portal access to go online and book everything yourself and see all your savings, as well as the discounted airport lounges and then the signature trips. So by paying that $175 every single month and paying your dues, it's almost like a savings account in a way. So me being a single mom of 4 kids, I don't always have a lot of money to set aside for myself to do a nice fun trip that is well deserved, right? We need to treat ourselves. So this kind of allows it, it's a way to, it's almost like a little travel savings account. So you pay your dues each month and it gets tucked away where you can't touch it. And then at the end of the year, after 12 months, you're able to choose a signature trip, which is a week-long trip. And there's, over 50 plus places to choose from. And you don't have to just go overseas. There's local stuff too that you can do with your trip. But it allows you to go on a trip once a year on top of being part of the Elite community and traveling with all of us, to all the different places. So the one coming up that I'm going to for sure be going on is the Thailand trip. So I'll put it here on the screen. That one is 8 days and 7 nights, round trip airport transfers for stress-free arrival and departure. You get private transportation for all the excursions, no guesswork, just smooth transitions. $150 resort credit per person. Food and drink, you're getting 3 days of breakfast, 4 curated meals across standout venues. So we have lunch at the beachfront restaurant, toes in the sand, dining with panoramic sea views, the Thai tasting menu at the Blue Mango, elevated local flavors in a luxe setting, lunch at Phuket's Floating Village, cultural immersion meets culinary delight, dinner at the kitchen table, refined ambience, and signature dishes. So all of that for $650. So, and then if you minus out the $150 credit, it's really only costing you $500. So you can't really beat that, right? So I'm definitely going to be going on that trip. Another one coming up is, and hopefully you guys can all join me. It's going to be my divorce party. So I'm officially divorced, finalized December 5th. So this trip is actually December 10th through December 14th. So we're definitely going to party. So come join me and be part of the club. It's going to be in the Dominican Republic. I'll put that on the screen as well. It's 5 days, 4 nights at the Twin Sands. So it has the accommodations and transportation included, food and drink, like we talked about before. This one has all-inclusive with meals, snacks, and the premium open bar. 24/7 room service, in-room bar with mixers, restocked daily, and a $500 per room resort credit. So you are getting a $500 credit there as well. So some of the activities, these are the ones I'm looking forward to. Unlimited golf green fees. So that's the Greg Norman course. We have the Elite Excursion. That's a sail and snorkel party cruise. We have the Elite VIP private welcome reception, Elite VIP farewell dinner event, and the Elite Experiences concierge on site. So all of that is going to be included. Definitely looking forward to that. So yeah, being part of the club allows you to come on the trips. It allows you to have that savings set aside, and then being able to get the discounts you normally would have done if you were traveling. The travel industry alone is huge. So if you want to do the business side of things too and make money and travel as well, you can do that. The travel industry, in comparison, like I'm part of the automobile industry, right? So the automobile industry right now is $2.6 trillion. So if you look at travel, travel is an $11.7 trillion industry. And in the next 5+ years, there's going to be trillions more, right? So if you want to be part of that side of things, making an income, Elite allows that as well. So if you'd like to do the business part of things, let me know. I can get you linked with somebody on the team to be part of that. But there is a really good compensation plan if you're wanting to do that side of things. And or just come travel with me and be my travel buddy. So I'll put my QR code link up here if you'd like to sign up and or do the business part of things as well. So yeah, that's Elite in a nutshell. Thank you so much. Bye.
There's a quiet power humming underneath your skin, a fire wrapped in softness, a cathedral held within. You work behind the curtain while the world demands the stage, but the depth of what you carry could fill 1,000 pages. You've been searching for the meaning in the spaces in between, and the cosmos keeps on whispering things you've always seen. You were made of fire and mercy, truth and tender grace, with a heart that reads the room before you've seen a face. The universe is holding what your hands cannot contain. Every wound you turn to wisdom, every loss became your gain. You love with open honesty, no armor, no disguise. You crave a soul who matches yours, who meets you in the eyes. You balance like a dancer on the edge of give and take, and the right one will adore the art that only you can make. You've been given more than asking, that's the pattern in your bones, but the tide is finally turning. You don't have to walk alone. You were made of fire and mercy, truth and tender grace, with a heart that reads the room before you've seen a face. The universe is holding what your hands cannot contain. Every wound you've turned to wisdom, every loss became your gain. There's a dreamer in your bloodline, something ancient, something true. You can sense the things unspoken, feel what others never knew. Your ambition hums in silence, building kingdoms in your mind, and the legacy you're weaving is the most enduring kind. Don't let the noise distract you from the vision burning bright. You're closer than you've ever been to stepping in your light. You were made of fire and mercy, truth and tender grace, with a heart that reads the room before you've seen a face. fear became a guide. Now the cracks are filling.